The whiny Ben O'Connor put on an impressive display yesterday, winning the leader's red jersey with an incredible ascent of the Alto de las Abejas, travelling even faster than the peloton of favourites, and this despite having been 120 kilometres away in the wind and at a temperature of more than 30 degrees Celsius. A new exhibition of tailwinds and Van Rijssel materials, now without the druid Vincent Lavenue in the ranks of the Casino team. It was such a spectacular show that even the doper Red Bull team manager, Pachi Vila, declared that he had never seen such a good performance from a rider on a stage like this. And this coming from someone who has dealt exclusively with an Operation Adalas sufferer like Pierre Baguette. So we have to believe that O'Connor's performance was, at the very least, not normal. Now the question is, can the whiny Aussie win the 2024 Vuelta? Many fans have had their minds warped by what happened in 2023 with the Andorran Kuss in the lead. But the context this year is very different. Sure, O'Connor is riding the best bike in the peloton, as we all know. But his team is not going to be in a position to protect him all that well, despite having Gall and Paris-Peintre. And nor are the riders going to be quite as benevolent as they were yesterday. In fact, in 2021, O'Connor himself gained a lead of more than 3 minutes over the Danish Anchovy and the King of the Minions in the middle of the Tour de France, and ended up losing more than 3 minutes to the Ecuadorian in the general classification. Okay, in the Tour, the course is much harder, but O'Connor is not the best climber in the peloton. Yesterday he was in his ideal terrain, but there are still rivals with balls like the Slovenian skier, who already said he wanted to give away the red jersey, the dinosaur Mikel Landa, supported by the ketones of the T-Rex team, or indeed the King of the Minions, who said he wanted to fight for the general classification of the Vuelta this year. That is, O'Connor's show has at least served to give this rather trashy race an offensive incentive. The big favourites can't just sit back, they've got to work and they'll have to greatly improve the show. For us, it looks like far too much of a stretch to anoint him as the winner with 2 weeks to go. He's 5 minutes ahead, not 15. Subscribe to the channel to follow daily this Vuelta España, and also make sure that you follow us on our new Twitter, @UncleCycling, to find out the latest news. And now, let's talk about the new monster of the Moonlight Matching Factory. You can already see him crossing the finish line in Les Carélies. It's Pablo Torres, Spanish rider of the Saunier Duval subsidiary team, who's put on a tremendous exhibition in the Tour de l'Avenir, crushing the main favourite Jarno Widar, the leader Joe Blackmore, and the dangerous Dutch dynamic duo of the Rabobank team, formed by Darren van Beckham and Tijmen Graat. He did it thanks to an attack 6 kilometres from the finish line, one which destroyed the big favourites. Something surprising for a young man of only 18 years of age. According to our friend Gabriel from Lanterne Rouge, Torres has literally put on the best ascent in history for a young man of his age, with an incredible power-to-weight figure of 6.29 watts per kilo during more than half an hour of ascent. We're talking about an equivalent of 427 watts. Figures far superior to those of the Slovenian alien Poggi when he competed in this race, and similar to that of some great cycling superstars of the previous decade, which they only achieved at the age of 23 or 24 years of age. Although he had won some junior races in Spain, such as the Vuelta a Valladolid or the Trofeo Mas de la Costa, it hasn't been until this season, 2024, when he finally exploded in the ranks of the Saunier Duval Gen Z, with a stage victory in the Valle d'Aosta, a second place in the Giro Next Gen behind Jarno Widar, and these very impressive performances in the Tour de l'Avenir, which are typical of professionals of a high level. In other words, Pablo Torres, like the Mexican Isaac del Toro in the previous campaign, is already feeling the benefits in his legs from being led by legends like Dracula Gianetti and Moonlight Matching and their disciples. And so, if finally the hard-working Ayuso leaves the team, no problem at all. They've already manufactured a new, incredible replacement who is, let's remember, only 18 years old. And we have information that the youngsters in Spain are being groomed to be the best professionals of the epocha. Stay tuned to the channel to find out more, and now let's move on to analyse the day stage of the Vuelta España. 180 practically flat kilometres awaited the riders today, starting in Archidona, the town with the most luxurious prison in Spain, one for VIP criminals. That's where your Uncle Cycling hopes to end up if the wishes of the channel's haters finally come true, and we're sent to prison by some professional team or cyclist or doctor. And it finishes up in Cordoba, the beautiful city full of Muslim architecture where in the past some real doped beasts have been victorious, such as David Miller in 2003, prepared and coached by Dave Brailsford, his veins chock full of EPO. Or there was iliac artery Manali in 1996, doped by Dr. Ferrari himself in the final year of existence, a no less hilarious year, of course, of the legendary Gewis Balan team. With 25 kilometres to go, however, this course encounters a second category mountain difficulty, a serious piece of alto with 14% gradients. This would serve to eliminate a large part of the favourites for today's victory. So although the betting might have the Belgian bot as the main candidate for the win, would these forecasts come true? The stage began with news of two important abandonments. The Colombian friend and sometimes dancing partner of the Slovenian alien and all-round dangerous rider, Rigoberto Urán, who we imagine will have difficulty returning to professional cycling after this injury. The second was the Lotto man who's already officially signed for the Norwegian state doping team, Andreas Kron. The day itself began in an embarrassing way, with a one-man breakaway. Xavier Isasa of the Euskaltel Euskadi team, who at least is fighting as hard as he possibly can to give extra visibility to his sponsor. He managed to gain more than 8 minutes of advantage, but being on his own and with Rabobank working behind, the result was a foregone conclusion. Much more entertaining was the response during the stage of Selfie Le Partillon to the doping of Robert Stannard and the lies of Milan Ergen, the Bahrain victorious director who lied again, hiding the doping of the dirty Australian. By the time they reached the 14% slopes, Isasa had already been caught, and the Red Bull team show was about to begin. With the Slovenian skier aiming to cut some ground on the whining O'Connor, the second category pass was climbed at full speed, whittling the peloton down to a small group of less than 30 riders. O'Connor was not left behind, but Roglic managed to top out and gain 6 seconds of bonus. Not much, but definitely better than nothing. Shortly afterwards, Calippo Soler, the popular Andorran cyclist of the Saunier Duval team, always fond of slurping on ice cream, well, he made his classic downhill attack with 20 kilometres to go in an attempt to surprise the small group. And in fact, he almost succeeded. But then an immeasurable near compatriot of his, Sepp Kuss, worked the unspeakable on the flat to catch him, reminding us of his best times as a domestique. Bib number 1 made the sprint finish an absolute walkover for the Belgian bot, who, without the presence of Caden Groves, won very, very easily ahead of the dangerous Mathias Vacek, and another man we'd already warned you to keep an eye on, the Colombian Theodosid Tejada. Van Aert took his second win of the 5-heat earmarked for this Vuelta, and he thanked Kuss endlessly for his hard work, insisting that he now would work for him and try to get him back on the podium in Madrid. And so today, O'Connor has gained a new enemy, one capable of destroying Poggy himself at Otakam. Oh, we have a very exciting couple of weeks ahead of us now. Subscribe to see it all on this channel. Oh, and stop by the video on the screen. You will love it.